Irish. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Onions episode 710, the St. Patrick's Day edition. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to Michael. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great, man. It's St. Patrick's Day. How can I not be excited? I'm pumped and ready to go.
Yeah, a lot went down over the weekend here in Pittsburgh for the St.
A little bit.
Patrick's Day weekend, and starting during the parade. Uh, I don't know if there must have been a million kids on this rooftop. Did you see this video, Mike?
Oh God, yes,
During the
yeah, I
parade, they
seen
had all these
that.
kids.
That was wild.
And there must have been a million kids on this rooftop. It was like a porch roof, and the roof collapsed and fell like on a whole bunch of people. Like I guess 30 people got hurt, something along them lines. But you know what? Hope everyone's doing well up there. But that didn't end
Yeah,
there.
man.
It ran over into Carson Street later on in the day. There was a big brawl. I don't know what it is about St. Patrick's Day, Mike. It's always seems to be something goes down. This
Yeah.
fight went on for, I don't know, 15 minutes. I'm watching this video. It was actually kind of crazy, but St. Patty's Day in Pittsburgh is never, ever boring. I can promise you that.
Oh God, no. You get a bunch of alcohol mixed in with a bunch of young, or just anyone in general. It's going to be fireworks are going to happen. And they did not disappoint. And what else would you expect on the St. Patrick's Day in Pittsburgh? You know,
Yeah, I wasn't, I got to say, I wasn't surprised by all this. I wasn't happy when I seen it
yeah,
because, again, I mean, these are pretty bad things that went down.
yeah,
However, at the end of the day, you're not surprised. You always expect Pittsburgh to be at its worst on St. Patrick's Day. That's the way it
uh-huh.
seems, at least. But here we are, guys. This is St. Patrick's Day itself. This is officially St. Patrick's Day. This is
Yes.
the big 317, Mike. It is the big 710 here on the show. Welcome
Yes, it
back,
is.
everybody.
Who?
Let's see. So what we had over the past week, we had Mario Day. It was
Yes.
310. We had Pi
Yes.
Day. It
Yes.
was 314. We had 316 Day, which was
Yes.
316. We
Stone
had
Cold.
St. Patrick's Day. I mean, come on, everything. This is the busiest part of the year, one of the busiest times of the year, right here in March.
Yeah.
Most people tend to overlook most of these things, but there you go, Mike. Back at it, and also we can't forget Steak and BJ Day. Steak
We
and BJ Day.
cannot forget that
Um,
one.
if you if
When I
if you
think we have
watched
to
the show
ask
Friday,
Finch
you might have
how
caught a
it went.
fragmented. I don't want to know. Believe me, I don't want to know how it went at Finch's house that day. But yeah, he was excited. That's all I know. He was ready
I
for the
think we
big
can
Steak
ask.
and
I think
BJ
we can
Day.
ask him. Yeah.
Yeah, I went the full story. Where is he? He's supposed to be here,
Right?
isn't he?
He said he was running behind. So
All right, when he gets here, we'll drill him.
yeah, when he gets here, we'll grill him. If he's watching now, he's like, no, I'm not going to come on now.
Yeah, we'll grill him. See, and what I'm gonna
Grill
do,
him.
see, is I'm gonna ask him a bunch of questions. See, about his steak and blowjobs. See, oh boy.
Oh my God. What the hell does
I guess we
happen?
could start Steelers. Oh, hey, here's one more question. Do I want to save this for after, or do I want to ask this now? I'll wait till after because there's more people will be involved, and Finch will be here.
No, okay.
But I do have a question to ask the panel, everybody here at some point, maybe later on near the end of the show, guys. So let's hop on board. Pittsburgh Steelers time. Pittsburgh Steelers time. Pittsburgh Steelers with a baseball bat. Whoop! Good morning, everybody. Pittsburgh Steelers. The scoop doesn't ever end in off season, Mike. And I got to tell you, I'm going to give my opinion on the quarterback situation. We have guys going. We have guys making comments about the team after they had left, went elsewhere. A whole bunch of things to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers today, guys. But I'm going to start right here, right now, with Aaron Rodgers. Mike, here's my take, and I'm going to stick with this. I thought of this a few days ago. I'm going to say right now that Aaron Rodgers, in fact, goes to the Minnesota Vikings. And I don't know if it's, I suppose they're probably going to give him a lot of money. That's what goes down. But at the end of the day, this dude Aaron Rodgers at 41 years old, off of an Achilles injury, off of one of his worst seasons ever as a pro, has the opportunity, Mike, to play behind an established line, a team that went to the playoffs, a team that went 15-2, a team that has mad weapons that made Sam Darnold look like a superstar. I think, in my opinion, that I think that it's very, very, very good chance for those reasons alone that Aaron Rodgers will play in Minnesota this year. And Mike, for all the people that love to play this game, he followed Brett Favre's tracks. He played for Green Bay, got his Super Bowl, went on to play at the Jets, stunk it up. And if he would go to Minnesota, that would follow Brett Favre's pattern to a T. Which is odd more than anything. I mean, you know what I mean? What's the chances? And then you got Favre there. He's trying to encourage Aaron Rodgers to go play. So he's doing his part to try to make it happen. But this Aaron Rodgers, Mike, with who's the Addison? I mean, they got so many guys in there.
Jefferson.
And the thing is, and they have a line that he could stand behind at 41 years old and pick you apart, just as Sam Darnold did last year. And again, Sam Darnold, we're still in question about his talent of overall. So I think it would be stupid. It would be absolutely stupid for Aaron Rodgers to go anywhere but the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, come on, you know what the Giants got going on. He's going to be getting killed up there. Okay, he got a receiver, you got a Slayton, you got this, you got little things going on. But come on, all in all, that doesn't benefit Aaron Rodgers. The Pittsburgh Steelers don't benefit Aaron Rodgers. We're kind of a disaster, and everybody knows it. Our offensive line needs to click. We bring in a wide receiver, but at the end of the day, again, this Vikings team that went 15-2 last year seems like the ideal situation for somebody like Aaron Rodgers, who kind of maybe wants to, keep his ass off the ground at 41 years old. Maybe, and again, a pretty good team that Sam Darnold, mind you, that's my new favorite team. Not really, but I'm going to continue to pay attention to what the Seahawks do, because everybody they got is everybody I wanted. I wanted Sam Darnold. They got him. I wanted Cooper Kupp. They got him. So I will be watching Seattle very closely, because this is the team that maybe we should have had. But Mike, at the end of the day, I think Aaron Rodgers would be stupid. And according to what everyone says, he's not a stupid guy. So I'm going to go with my thoughts and my theory on this. I'm going to say he's going to go to Minnesota and play football. Last week there was 5 days ago, or I don't know what day it was. It was one day last week. There was word that he was going to make his decision this week, which I don't trust one bit. I think this is going to go on for a while, because, it's all about him. It's off season, and everybody's talking about what Aaron Rodgers is doing, and I think he likes this. So I think he's going to stretch this out, but eventually I think he's dumb if he doesn't go to Minnesota at the end of the day, which puts us in a position, it could be worse. The fact that Cleveland wanted Kenny Pickett and didn't want Russell Wilson kind of helps us out.
Yeah,
I think
it does. Yeah,
but
I think it does. I think it does.
Isn't this a stupid
Good morning.
A stupid game? Isn't this a stupid game that we're playing right now? Here's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're out here fighting for a 41-year-old quarterback instead of a 38-year-old quarterback. When I think maybe, Mike, you know what I mean? This is a stupid. Why are we involved in this? Why is this going on? Why is this the Steelers' problem? Again, we're worrying that a 41-year-old quarterback makes a decision so we can decide whether we're going to get our 37-year-old quarterback. It's a stupid game that we're playing. Get a young guy, get ready to move forward. This pissing around with these old players is getting old. Again, it's stupid. Nobody's fighting over the two 40-year-old guys except for us. Why are we fighting over two 40-year-old guys? And if you're going to fight over 40-year-old guys, in my opinion, I think the most productive in this situation for the Steelers could be a Joe Flacco. I know you don't want to hear that.
Oh, God, no.
Because he's a Raven, but I tell you what did he do when he came in to play for them god-awful Browns? He got a lot of wins. It was a team that was less than desirable. Yes, they were good. But he went to Cleveland and got a lot of wins, led that team to the playoffs. So if you're going to argue over 40-year-old quarterbacks, perhaps throw that name in there. I think he might be the most productive. He's not a midget like Russell Wilson is. And he's not an ass clown like Aaron Rodgers is. I mean, he might be an ass clown, but in his own Baltimore ways. But again, if we're going to play this stupid game, of waiting in our whole franchise and our whole organization and our whole season relies on what a 41-year-old quarterback is doing. We got to get our shit right, guys. We got to get our shit right, Mike.
I don't want anything to do with Joe Flacco. Like, just looking at his numbers, they're not good. You'd be better off just running out with Mason Rudolph at that point. And then drafting a rookie this year.
But a guy did win the Super Bowl. I mean, he does have credentials. At the end of the day,
he has credentials,
amazing
but like
credentials,
his most recent good year was 2014. Almost a decade ago.
Well, this year that he led the Browns to the playoffs. That was pretty impressive.
13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, only completing 60% of his passes. Pass. That's a hard pass right there.
Did they beat us?
They may have, but a lot of teams have beaten us recently.
What have we done? Again, I'm talking about 40-year-old quarterbacks, Mike.
Yeah, and right now, the best of the bunch is Aaron Rodgers. The second best is Russell Wilson, and the third is Joe Flacco.
And that's a bad bunch, Mike, is what I'm saying. Why are we stressing over 240? This shouldn't be the case. It should be a young man. In a young man's league, again, we're fighting for two guys. It's going to be an AARP a lot quicker than pretty much as soon as we are.
I don't know for a
stopgap
measure.
Mike, the debate about even having a debate about these 40-year-old quarterbacks, I think is insane. But go ahead.
I was going to say, like, Aaron Rodgers finished 8th in passing yards. He tied 7th in touchdowns. Almost 3,900 yards.
Why do you continue to ignore his personality? Why do you and everybody else that likes this continue to ignore his personality?
I'm not. I know the circus.
It's a big problem.
But if the goal of the Steelers, which everyone says every year, it's Super Bowl or bust, Super Bowl or bust.
I don't care what everyone says. Let's talk about what makes sense, Mike.
Do you want to win a playoff game?
Let's stop talking about what everybody says. Let's talk about what makes sense.
What makes sense if this team, as they're building a team,
because the Jets did so great with Aaron Rodgers.
The Steelers want to put out the best team they can, and he is the most productive player at the quarterback position available. So why wouldn't you put an offer out to him, say, this is our deadline, you either let us know or not, or we're moving on? And we don't know if they did that, if they didn't do that. So, like, this guy has multiple offers out there. Why shouldn't he take the time to think about his offers? Wouldn't you do the same thing if you were presented 4 different job offers? Wouldn't you take your time?
Yeah, but it wouldn't take me 4 months. This guy, know what's coming. You know his patterns. You know his, Mike, his character. I know, but a week starts, you have to go longer. So if it does go on for months, eventually you have to hit that week mark. I'm just saying, the character, the person we're dealing with. Come on, this guy is a bit of a pro. And Mike, and again, we just got rid of a bunch of problems in the locker room.
I know.
With Deontay Johnson. And I mean, go back 10 years. I mean, the amount of problems. Is this what we really need again under a Mike Tomlin coach team? Is just more problems? I would like to see the problems go away and see the football take over to see if, we actually have a good team, a good coach, a good situation, whatever. But if you bring guys in, I don't get me wrong. I like Slay. But Metcalf. But I mean, these guys are potential time bombs, and at any given point, who knows what could happen during the course of the game.
Yeah.
Again,
like I get what you're saying.
Right, and then you got to deal with him because he's not going to be over. He's not going to be overshadowed by all the other drama. Oh God, no.
No, God, no.
Oh, jeez.
No,
so he's going to be a problem because he doesn't want to be overshadowed.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But anyway,
I agree with the issues that he brings. But looking at a productivity standpoint, you're like, he's the most productive.
Though, Mike.
I know. But if they think they have
think about what our 37-year-old quarterback did last year.
I know.
Our 37-year-old quarterback got hurt in preseason.
Yeah.
Didn't play a snap in preseason. Didn't play a snap all the way up until week 9.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you have older guys. Again, we are fighting a stupid battle. We're trying to find out who's the best 40-year-old. This is stupid. Again, let's say we go with someone younger and they don't do as great as Aaron. I mean, this is it's kind of this is a Pittsburgh thing. Let's get these old people that did good at one time and are great and are going to go to the Hall of Fame. But what are they going to do for you now? Mike, if Aaron Rodgers comes here and takes us to the playoffs and win, I'd be so surprised. I really would.
Yeah.
Good morning to Finch.
Good morning to Finch.
Good morning to the board Finch into the conversation. Good morning to Finch. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Had a busy morning. Was running a little behind, but we made it.
All right. Good to see you, my man. Always great to see you here on the show. I went on to say
real
at the
quick,
very beginning, let me just get caught up real quick, Mike, this is why Aaron Rodgers is going to go to the Vikings. Aaron Rodgers is going to go to the Vikings, Finch, because they went 15-2 last year. This is a team that was good. This team has a nice line. This team has Addison. This team has receivers. And this team made Sam Darnold
look
like
good
a
and
superstar.
got Sam Darnold paid. Yeah, got him paid.
And for this reason alone is why Aaron Rodgers goes to the Vikings. It's an established team, an established line. This 41-year-old man don't want to be on his back much. He has mad weapons, again, that made Sam Darnold look good. And his team went 15-2. What part of this would make Aaron Rodgers not want to go to Minnesota? They're probably going to pay him mad loot over there. And now you can let J.J. McCarthy sit around a season under him and still learn more because, again, he was injured through the first year. So that's my theory. I think that he's going to go to Minnesota. And also, as I told Mike as we opened up, it would be a perfect go along with the Brett Favre thing. Everyone's talking about this.
Yeah, it would
the Packers,
complete the
Jets,
Brett
and then the
Favre loop. Yeah, the Brett Favre loop. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you guys, if I was a gambling man, and I'm not,
for him.
I would say he's going to go to Minnesota. All right, Mike, go ahead, my man. I'm sorry. I just had to get Finch.
No, you're good. You're good. Real quick to everyone, good morning on the board. Ryan Finch, it's not showing on Restream on our end, but it is flying up on YouTube right there.
Yeah,
so
I'm not
comments
seeing
are coming. Yeah, I just noticed that too, guys. My bad. I had
good.
Yeah. I'll be able to fix it tomorrow.
Get on your points, Mike. I'm going to try to get caught up here on the board.
All
right.
But no, I understand what you're saying about Aaron Rodgers and the circus and the toxic attitude that he brings in, but he is. I think he would be the best shot to win a Super Bowl. Why did all my lights start?
You think that's going to happen realistically for us this year, Mike? Let me ask you.
No.
You really realistically think
God, no.
Okay.
No, I don't think we're going to win a Super Bowl, but the organization probably does think, if we can go out and get this guy, we have a chance to compete for a Super Bowl. So I can see them deluding themselves into thinking that, hey, we did enough on our roster, sprinkling guys in here and there, hit on a couple draft picks, get Rodgers. We're making a deep playoff run. I guarantee you that is their thought process.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Just the decisions this team's made over the past few years, guys. But let's move forward a little bit. I mean, we took a quarter of the show talking about the discount double douche. I don't want to do that. Let me introduce and say good morning to everybody on the board today. I want to say good morning to Mark Malone, Cataball Warrior, and Tortilla Jackson. Good morning, everybody, so far this morning. Let's see, Cataball. What's up, my friend? Missed you on the show lately. Cataball says Rodgers could be the quarterback to win a Super Bowl for the team he beat in a Super Bowl. Very interesting. And I don't see him winning a Super Bowl here. And it would be terrible if he – I don't know. Again, I can't take this guy. Believe me, we're better off without him. Mark Malone says, well, we don't have a good coach. Cataball then goes on to say, patience is a virtue. I'm not stressing. Mark Malone comes back and says, hopefully they don't sign any of those dudes. They need to get on the Malone plan and draft show. He also goes on to say, I don't think anyone in the organization is too worried now. We have Mason. Flacco would be 10 times the quarterback of the midget Wilson. Tortilla says, what's up? He says, did Favre play with Randy Moss? Would be another thing that lines up if he did, since they have Jefferson. I don't think he was. No, Randy Moss.
I don't think so. No.
No,
Moss was long gone by then.
Yeah, he was out.
He was in New England by the time Favre was in. Yep.
That was 90. Yeah. But guys, I mean, you got to kind of see the writing on the wall here. I mean, yes, if you want to kind of, again, kick the can down the road, make everybody happy, get your veteran, talk about, Super Bowl possibilities. This guy's been there. This guy has the talent. You know what? Go ahead, pull the trigger, bring Aaron Rodgers here. I'm telling you, it's going to be a disaster. We're all going to be talking about the disaster it is all season. You know what? He'll come out and throw a 300-yard game and maybe 3 touchdowns. We'll be excited. But do we really?
Yeah,
think
the very first game, we'll play the Browns in game 1, and he'll just go out and smoke them for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns, and we'll be talking about Aaron Rodgers taking us to the Super Bowl, and then he'll just flop or he'll get hurt, one or the other.
Then we have Mason Rudolph again riding in on his sled to lead us to the playoffs in a first-round exit. The cycle is complete. Here's an idea. Here's an idea. You sign Aaron Rodgers. You go into the draft. You draft Jackson Dart at 21. Now your quarterback room is Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph, Jackson Dart. That would please everyone. Because you got your
that would
veteran.
please me. I can promise you that.
You get your guy for Ryan, and then we got Mason Rudolph.
And that's
next year, Jackson
just want to
Dart
say,
would be your guy.
Cord man told me on the board, Mike, you just said that. I wonder if Dart will be there for the Steelers. You know what? I would love to get Jackson Dart, Mike. They picked up a defensive lineman yesterday from New England, and I know this isn't going to be the guy that's going to be the guy of the future, but again, you can see where they're signing guys that's going to help them draft better. In other words, if they decide to take, hey, let's go all out and get our quarterback early, our Jackson Dart, if we can still get him.
Yeah.
Then you could say, well, we need a defensive lineman, but we brought this guy in. Well, we do need another third down back. Well, we brought Gainwell in. So I mean, you can see they're playing. They're playing smart right now. They are. They're trying to, and they're trying to uncover cover all their bases here. I think. And Mike, they hit every position, even the quarterback position that we do need. You bring Mason Rudolph. So they played a little bit to each position to where you could see now that whatever they do in the draft, they're not going to regret what they did in the draft because they already was proactive and made decisions to strengthen and bolster those positions. Again, this guy from New England, he's not going to, he's a 310-pound defensive, could play anywhere on the defensive line. He gets a pretty good start. And again, is he 22? No. Is he? Well, no, but they are covering their bases at every position. Yeah. So when they do draft, they don't get burnt. I like that. This is smart what they're doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the positional flexibility they have going into the draft or where they're going to pick it's a luxury for them. Like just going through and do the mock drafts that I've been doing, like everyone I go through is different because wait, we got a guy here. We just picked up a guy there in this spot. We don't have to reach here. We don't have to reach there. So I like that philosophy. So you don't have to rely on just the draft to fill a position. And speaking of the guy we got from New England, this was like his only year as a starter in the league. And just looking at his analytics in PFF, he ranked in the top well within inside the top 50 of being one of the top 50 interior defenders in the league against the run. He's not going to be here to disrupt the pass. He's going to be here to help that run defense, which we need. He graded out really well.
Mike, he's 48 out of 219 at that position.
Yeah, I went through and I looked and I was like, okay, because you see it, like he only started like this year is his only year as a starter. So, he worked himself to being a starter. So, he has that work ethic. He has that mentality of doing whatever it takes to get out there. And I think that's something like the Steelers have missed for a long time, are these dirty type players that will just grind to do whatever it takes to win. And they're slowly adding that back into the roster. I like this nice depth piece. Now it still doesn't preclude us from going D tackle in round 1 if we want to, or
which is
tackle
crazy
in round 3.
Like, you can't have so much.
I know. You
so
think
many needs on offense. You can't have so many needs on offense and take a defensive tackle with the number 1 pick. That's stupid.
I know, but we got our wide receiver room set. Depending on what they do at quarterback, they might have it set right there. The only other thing would be running back. Do you go running back round 1?
Possibly, but you don't like running backs in round 1.
I don't like them in round 1, but there's like one there that I would take outside of Genty. Would be Hampton from North Carolina.
Genty's crazy. Okay,
like
I would take him, but yes, Hampton
running backs I would take.
Genty any day of the week.
But then,
Mike, this guy,
some D lineman out there, Daniel, I think would be record.
Mike, pronounce this guy's last name. Akule, the guy we got from New England.
I was hoping you would not make me pronounce his name.
All right. Well, everybody, this Daniel Ekuale, we signed last night. He's a defensive tackle, Mike. He's ranked 48 out of 219 qualified defensive tackles and linemen. He could get you a couple sacks a year, according to this article. He ranked 13th in solo tackles, 11th in assists, and 21st he ranked in stops. Yeah. He played a lot of key snaps for the Patriots, grades above a 60, and those are considered a solid, good grade. Daniels is an above a C on the rush defense. Mike, this guy is an upgrade from Larry Ogunjobi. From everything that I'm reading, nothing great. I mean, we're not getting Jalen Carter by any means.
No,
but Mike, this guy is certainly an upgrade over Ogunjobi, who obviously went to Buffalo and is now out for 6 games because of PEDs. which this works out for us perfect. This guy, again, he's a step up, and if we do draft, good for us. But again, this was proved to be the right move as of right now.
Yeah, I like the move. The more I looked into it, I was like, this is a solid addition. Maybe you try him at nose tackle and bump out Benton to left end, and put him out in space more instead of being in the middle where he kind of struggled. He took a step, not like he took a step back last year, but you can see I don't think he's a true nose tackle. And let's try Goulet at nose tackle, put Benton outside. That's a nice D line right there. And then, I still want some younger, better talents. And there's a couple guys in round 3 at D line. If we don't go D line, go it in round 3. And those guys would be huge upgrades over someone like Montravius Adams and Logan Lee and Dean Lowry. So get younger, better talent there. This is a good signing. And, this can be one of those sneaky under the radar signings, the way like Deshaun Elliott was last year. I don't know if he's going to have that type of impact, but I think he can have a bigger impact than what people are going to give him credit for.
I think you're right, guys. Mike, Finch, let me come to you. I'm going to switch the directions here a little bit. We're going to have a little fun for a little bit. We're about halfway through the show. Finch, did you happen to catch Kenneth Gainwell's nickname? I know that you're a bit of a nickname guy. You always had a nickname, but it was your last name. So it wasn't like a nickname, but you fell in that category to where your last name could have been your nickname your whole life. Did you happen to catch what Kenneth Gainwell's nickname is, Finch?
I have not, but I'm curious to know.
It's Kenny G. They even asked him. He even had a chance to to make he even had a chance to make something up. He comes out and he says, "Nope, I'm Kenny G, guys." So we do have a Kenny G, but but one thing we don't have anymore, fellas, Nasty Nate Herbig. Nasty Nate Herbig. We lost him over the weekend. He signed with the Commanders, so no more Nasty Nate, Mike. So all these linemen. Now you might have to start asking yourself. You lose Dan Moore, you lose Daniels, you lose Herbig, who wasn't a big deal, but again, when you're talking depth, Mike, where does this offensive line go from here? Does it, is this just what we're going to do? We're going to run with these 5 guys, or are we going to go after somebody in later rounds to maybe fill that depth? Mike, there's really, I just don't understand the anemic behavior when it comes to offense. There's just. Everybody should be happy. We got DK Metcalf. Let's dance around and do some things. But you think that's going to take us from a 10-7 to a playoff win? I don't know, Mike. What more do we need to do on this offense, especially that offensive line moving forward?
Well, the O-line, the O-line, it's set left to right of Jones, Sayamalu, Frazier, McCormick, Fatanu. Then, now it's like you said, you're looking at backups. Ryan McCollum at backing up Frazier. He serviceable backup at center. Cool. Spencer Anderson, he performed well as a backup when he came in. Cool. I'm fine with those 2. Now you're looking at Dylan Cook, Stephen Jones, and Doug Nestor. There's a lot of improvement for backup offensive linemen. Spencer Anderson, McCollum, they're just your interior guys. They need to go out and get a better tackle, someone who can play left and right tackle, get a nice swing tackle of depth. I don't know who's out there that they're going to get. There's potential for guys in the 4th, 5th, 6th round that you can get tackles that, can develop and be that backup, but you have to hope that Jones and Fatano can make it through the year injury free. Is that going to be the case? We don't know. Fatano was injured last year, Roger Jones up and down. They need to upgrade the backup tackle position big time. And, running back, they still need to upgrade the running back position too. Get someone that can bump Cordella Patterson off the roster. That way bumps Gainwell down to your 3rd string. Then you got Jalen Warren, someone else going out at it for, running back 1 position and rotate them like you did with Najee. And those are the 2 big positions on the offense that need upgraded. Outside of quarterback, obviously.
Absolutely. Some more minuses and pluses, I guess you could say. We gain, we lose on the offense. This one we lost, and he decides to. I don't think he. I don't know. You make the call. Did Najee Harris fire subtle shots at the Pittsburgh Steelers? He shows up at the L.A. Chargers clubhouse. Goes on to say he's excited to be a part of an organization that invests in its players. I mean, obviously they invest a lot of money, and these guys are millionaires. But at the end of the day, he's basically taking a cheap shot. And I've seen this in quite a few different articles and posts over the weekend, Mike, that, the Steelers organization, it's just, it doesn't feel like the destination, the place to be anymore. I mean, somebody goes to the Chargers and is happier to be there than the Steelers franchise locker room. Mike, do you think, and I think in a small way, it was a tongue-in-cheek shot. I don't think there was any harm by it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But by the NFLPA report cards over the past couple of years, we've learned that the Steelers are pretty low on everything, Mike. Is this something that we should even care about? Is this something that really matters? And if it does, do the Roonies and the Steelers make any decision to kind of spice life up in Pittsburgh and make it more than just about football?
If you can have like a bad facility, like the way like Kansas City, like locker room was rated so low, you can have that when you're consistently winning, because people are going to come in like, okay, I'm going to come in to win. But now if you're going to places and you're looking for an opportunity to play, okay, I'm the contenders aren't getting after me, but all these other teams are. I'm going to start checking things off where I want to go into work. Is it a scheme fit and a comfortability factor too? So taking into account the locker room, the weight room, the training room, that should go into your mind too, because that's your job. That's the atmosphere that you're going into. So I can see why a place like San Diego, that's a brand new facility, has all the bells and whistles, would attract someone who
I bet
went to
LA's
Alabama,
pretty nice too,
where they had all the bells and whistles too. So I can see why that would sway players to like, hey, when I go to work, I'm here to work too, but I also want to be comfortable too after practice. So it's a psychological thing.
Mike, let's get caught up on the board. Again, our board didn't pop up today, Mike. I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm going to go off the board that I do have. My alternative board, I guess. Guys, let's start with, I'm going to start right here. Tortilla Jackson says, I had to look it up. Apparently, they did play together in 2010 in Minnesota.
Oh.
I don't remember that, though. Did Randy Moss go back to Minnesota?
I don't think
because he was in New England for the Super Bowl run, and I don't recall. But I mean, if you look it up,
Randy
it's there.
Did sign.
Also.
Yeah, I feel like he did sign with Minnesota for like a half season or something like that, and that was sort of like his swan song, his last little hurrah. But I don't recall it being with Favre, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, he played 4 games
Mike, look
there in 20. He played 4 games there in 2010,
and that was the year Favre was there. Yeah. Interesting.
Tell you what, that Tortilla Jackson, always on the ball. Cataball Warrior says, not a Rodgers fan. I'm fine with Rudolph and a rookie every year until one takes it. Cordman Tommy says, would please me. Mark Malone says, Cordman Tommy, yeah, I highly doubted I could see them trading down into the second for Howard or Show, though. Tortilla Jackson says, last time we was at a bad QB class, last time there was a bad QB class, teams waited until the third to take a quarterback. I don't think we need to take one in the first round. We may be able to land a day 2 QB. Yeah, let me make a comment on that, guys. Is it the smart idea? I mean, I feel that if you have a quarterback in your sight, you go get him. Mm-hmm. Because here's the thing: if you think that this is your guy and he's good enough to be the guy that's going to lead your team for the next 5-10 years, if he is in fact going to be your franchise quarterback, if he's there, if he's not, don't you think that you should be proactive to go get your leader, the guy that's going to be the face of your team for the next decade? I would trade up. I would trade Derpy. I would do whatever I had to do to get into a position to get the guy I wanted.
Right.
You know what I mean? This isn't a defensive tackle.
Yeah,
this isn't a tight end, Mike. This isn't an offensive guard.
Yeah.
I would treat that like the most important priority. Trying to get, if you find a guy you think is going to be your guy, you do what you got to do to go get him. I mean, some people were like, if this guy's in the second, we'll take if he falls, and I don't disagree with you. Don't get me wrong, Tortilla. I agree with what you're saying, but I'm just saying this. I just think that you should be a little bit more. And maybe they are, Mike. Maybe it's all behind the scenes and we're not seeing it, and they're playing smoke screens and things like that, which is possible. But at the end of the day, if you get your franchise, your face, the guy you want to be the face of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'd certainly have a more of an on-hands approach, I think, to trying to get him at the end of the day.
That's
Mike,
how I am
jump
when
on
it comes to the draft.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you find your guy. I don't care what position it is. If you think that's going to be a franchise changer, you go and get that guy. You do what you have to.
I
get
agree.
him so you don't sit there and wait and potentially lose out on someone that you think can change your offense or change your defense or whatever. You go and you get him. You get him. If Ray Lewis is sitting there and that's your guy, you fucking trade up and you go get him. It's just
right.
Simple.
You don't say,
like
well,
that.
We have an okay. We don't have an okay inside linebacker. If Ray falls, we'll get him. No, you go and you get him.
We'll be all right with
it takes.
You go and get him.
I mean, that shows.
Not to compare Jackson Dart to Ray Lewis,
how much
you get what I'm saying.
But it's not the point, right? The point is, you see your guy, you go get him, and I don't understand what that lacks. Again, here we are in a stupid situation, guys. We're fighting over two 40-year-old quarterbacks. We're fighting. People are online, calling each other's mother's names and things like this because they disagree that their 40-year-old quarterback is better than your 40-year-old quarterback when they were both spent significant amount of time on the sideline with Achilles injuries over the past 2 years. Again, they both come on. You watched them last year. Neither of them looked that great. I'll just jump back on the board though, guys. All right, here we go. Cordman Tommy says my dream was either Buckeye running back. Is either Buckeye running back. Sorry, but both will probably be gone by the third. Mark Malone talking about running backs. He says Johnson over Hampton. In Mark Malone's dream scenario is if Genty would fall to 21 and Show is still there in the third. I know Mark Malone loves Show. I could definitely say that. Mark
Malone also says if Genty is completion percentage.
Mark Malone also says if Genty isn't there, trade back. Cataball Warrior, 31-year-old rotation guy, solid.
Yeah, for
Mark Malone says the lady calls him the Slit Slayer. The Slit Slayer. Cordman Tommy. Naj made it sound like our facilities were the Major League movie.
He did, man.
I know.
Gotta get the
I don't have
belt mower to get the one whirlpool going.
No rebuttal. From what I'm seeing these report cards the past couple of years, I don't know if you can even argue that. Let's see. Tortilla says Genty might not make it past 6, let alone falls to 21. Trade back, take Hampton. If he ain't there, take the defensive tackle Harmon. Cataball Warrior says new stadium in LA with 2 teams should be head and shoulders better. Absolutely, I agree. Anything in LA is usually better, right? As far as the fluff. I'm sorry. Kenbu, B-O-U. He says, why can't we just start Mason Rudolph and use the draft and get his backup potential starter? That very well may be the case. I don't think people realize how close we are to Mason Rudolph being the starter on this football team this year.
I think that's the way to go, to be
really
honest
close.
with you. I think that's our best chance right now.
I think you're right, Finch. And worst case scenario, we miss the playoffs and get a good draft pick. Best case scenario, we make the playoffs and get bounced in the first round and pick where we pick every fucking year. So,
Mark Malone, Tortilla Jackson. Yeah, he'll probably be long gone, but remember how far Watt fell. I got to be honest. I would take listen. When it comes to running backs, you're talking about spending a first round on a running back, guys. This guy played very little competition at Boise State. He wasn't in a big, strong conference. I don't know about being that serious about him. I think maybe the guy that's second or third behind him might be the better option. Again, just my opinion. From what I saw, he looked great. But again, from what I saw, the teams he played weren't great. So at the end of the day, let's go to Yinzer Joe. What's up, Yinzer Joe? Always great seeing you, my friend. Good morning to you. We need to fan up. We need to up the fan morale. What do you think it would take to get Mike to wear black and yellow tassels with the Yinzer thong on the show one day? Donations. You know what? For money, I think Mike would do anything, to be honest. But I think pasties, tassels, and the terrible Speedo, or Mike, the new product that I added over the weekend, the terrible thong, could also go into play here, because yes, we do need the morale of the troops up heading into the next season, Mike. So you play a big part, whether you believe so or not. That's right.
My God. Y'all a bunch of freaks, man.
You wait till that Two Dumb Yinzer calendar comes out. You just wait. Let's see. Mark Malone says Ward, Sanders, and Milrow will all be massive busts. I agree. And I maybe agree.
Says the guy who thinks
I'm not really impressed by any of them.
Show has completed 63%.
Well, you know what?
Of his passes in college. How does that translate to the pros? Usually, there's a drop. Your completion percentage
Miami
drops from
stunk.
pros.
Colorado stunk. Alabama was the worst they've been in 2 decades.
Oh.
I mean, these are pretty. I mean, they aren't great quarterbacks. We could all admit to that, right?
No, go watch their film breakdowns. They're going to be productive.
I watched Cam Ward all year. I seen him play really good against really average teams in the ACC, but in games against big teams, he didn't play so great. Again, how's he going to be against NFL competition? Let's move on. Finchy say he'd lay a few bucks down for that. Richard Jankowski, good morning, my friend. I'm sure the Steelers could do a better job at upgrading the training facilities. I do believe the Steelers really need to do better job on physical training health. Tortilla Jackson, the Steelers offered Derpy for the 7th over round. Battery is not included. Tortilla Jackson also goes on to say, I agree. If you like him, go get him. I'm just being greedy and want the best value. Yinzer Joe, let's get some donations going for that. Mike, this is starting. It's gaining momentum. I got to tell you. Let's see. Dwayne Hood, what's up, my man? Good morning to you. Dwayne said a lot of people are confusing Kahn with how Colbert did things. He's just putting us positioned to get our franchise quarterback. Just wait. Mike, I think you would agree with that, right?
Yes,
to some degree, because you weren't a Colbert guy.
I was not a big fan of Colbert because he relied too much on the draft and didn't use free agency at all to add anything. And a lot of his picks, he hit on a lot of late round picks, but a lot too, he became smelling his own farts, his own pretentiousness when just take picks that made no sense. I like what Omar Khan's doing. He's building out a roster, and you can to where eventually you can plug in a quarterback once and then go from there. You rebuilding the O-line, D-line, slowly rebuilding skill positions. I like the way he's building the roster. I trust Omar Khan and Andy Weidel.
Mike, I like what Omar Khan is bringing to the table in a sense. He's kind of keeping up with the Kardashians in a way. We're kind of we're keeping up with the league by the way he's doing his job and handling free agency and handling the draft. And you know what? I think we needed that because we were, a lot of people were saying we have this old style. We don't match up with the game today. This is a quarterbacks league and all the things. And I think Omar Khan makes the right moves. Don't get me wrong. And he does just enough to get us excited. I mean, come on. He brings in Patrick Queen last year. Who's seen that coming? He brings in DK Metcalf. I mean, come on, under Kevin Colbert, do you see Patrick Queen or DK Metcalf ever being Pittsburgh Steelers? I don't. I say they draft. No. They would have let the guys hang around for 6 years, see if he was good enough, and went with them or not. It was totally against the way Colbert did things. So I agree that he's keeping up with the NFL, the way Omar Khan is doing his job at the GM, Mike, and I like that. I do think that that's a positive. But now we kind of fell by the wayside because everybody else made the leap before we did. I read a comment that we're trying to compare our team and make our team and use the blueprint that the Philadelphia Eagles is using and use the blueprint that the Baltimore Ravens is using. And I don't want to be that team. Those teams built their teams off of what we were doing. So I think by the way it went and how we just recently made the jump over to kind of catching up with the rest of the league, I think that's hurting us a little bit. But I think we eventually catch up. And when we do, once we get a franchise quarterback, things start to look a little different, Mike. But at the end of the day, like those two franchises, we have to find a franchise quarterback.
No, without a doubt. And that's the key, man. You have to have a franchise quarterback. A Trent Dilfer's not going to win you a Super Bowl anymore. Yeah, you're not going to ride the back of a dominant defense. You still have to have a quarterback that can go out there and
I think it
rise
could
to the
happen. I
occasion.
just don't see it happening often.
Yeah, exactly. Like like Jalen Hurts. He was like pedestrian throughout the regular season, but the Super Bowl came on, he turned into Terry Bradshaw. Like everything that he did was money in that Super Bowl, and even the one that he lost. So even during the regular season, you might not think that he's his great quarterback, but he has that it factor of when the lights are the brightest, he's going to play the best. And if the Steelers can find someone like that, does just enough, but gets into those big game situations and rises to the occasion, that can win you championships as well. So it doesn't have to be an all-time great player, but someone who's good enough to get you there. And once they're there, they turn the lights on, kind of like Joe Flacco did on his Super Bowl run. Someone who's able to just flip that switch and go. So you don't need like a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady. You just need someone in that Jalen Hurts, Joe Flacco type category of damn good, but when the lights are the brightest, I'm going to rise to the occasion.
Mark Malone did he did rebut, but first he says gotta have the clip-on scarlet and handlebar stash. So I agree, Mike. The clip-on is what we're gonna have to go with for now, because obviously it's going to take you a little bit of time to grow.
It's going to take a while.
But anyway, that's beside the point. But he goes on to say, show through long though, something approaching 9 YPAs. He's not checking down on every throw, and nor should he. I mean, guys coming out of college should have some kind of an arm if you're trying to be a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. Jackson
Mike,
Dart.
I
went 10.8 yards per attempt and threw 69% completion percentage. Cam Ward was 8 or 9.5 with the 67.2.
I wish he was an ACC guy, Mike. I don't think you would love Cam Ward. But go ahead.
And Shedeur Sanders completed 74% of his passes with an 8.7.
I just seen something the other day. If I played in the Mountain Conference, I could probably throw for 78%. But if you're in the MAC, if you're playing in the MAC and you're completing 62% of your passes,
and that's really good in the MAC. That's terrible in the MAC. If you're someone that people are saying are going to be a franchise quarterback, you should be completing 70% of your passes in the MAC if you're going to be a franchise.
Here's what I have fear. Somebody even had the balls to put up the Steelers could end up with Shedeur Sanders. And I tell you this, if the Steelers end up with Shedeur Sanders, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just don't know what I'm going to do. Mike, this is a bad quarterback draft. I think we could all agree on that. I think if you
is Dion going to follow Shedeur?
Yes, he's going to follow the Shedeur, and he's going to be here, and he's going to get on nerves,
right?
Just like he was when he was in Dallas and Baltimore and everywhere else. He's a pain in the ass. Just like
that's the biggest reason I don't want Shedeur. The Shedeur he's proven to be a pretty decent player at the college level. He had that great season, but he's probably not NFL talent, and his dad is going to follow him wherever he goes, and the Steelers don't need that. We're bitching about Aaron Rodgers, dude. Could you imagine if Deion Sanders was on the sideline all the time? Huh. Oh my goodness. Who knows? Deion might end up being a great, personality to be on the sideline. I don't know that, but I never liked the guy. So, but that's just something you'd have to deal with when you're dealing with Shedeur Sanders.
Let's move on to the next one. Richard Jankowski says, I agree. Con is setting us up for the future. I think so. I like the way he's, again, doing his job. Catabaugh, do you guys remember the Jags disrespecting the towel? You know what? The little yellow rag that they wiped their face, whatever it was that Lawrence said about the terrible towel. And they have been terrible since that moment. You don't mess with the terrible towel. We believe this pretty strongly here on the show. Don't mess with the terrible towel.
Don't mess with the terrible towel.
Catabaugh or Tortilla says, keeping up with the Roonies. Cordman Tommy says, I agree with you. Con seems to be catching up with the rest of the league. He follows on to say, Catabaugh, the karma caught up with them. I think he's talking about the Jaguars. Yinzer Joe says, Con is signing established vets from the league, but we don't have room on the bench for wheelchairs and canes. You know what? Say what you want, guys, but I think you hit it right on the head. It's Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has become the geriatric center of pro sports in America. Finch, Mike's disembodied head looks like a full moon that's about 5% into an eclipse. I like this. Mike, you do have kind of an eclipse thing going on there.
Yeah, my light, it was shining great pre-show, and then it just doesn't want to work right now. So I said, fucking, I'm rolling with it, boys. Deal with it.
Cordman Tommy says, yeah, some of the checkdowns and out of bound tosses drove me crazy. You know what? When I can do that in Denver 2 seasons ago, that's why I thought to myself, this is going to be a disaster. Everyone convinced me last year, well, he threw this many touchdowns. He did this. Blah, blah, blah. He's still with the checkdowns and the throwing out of bounds. It never changed. It's going to be one whole more season of that if he comes back. I'm just throwing it out there, guys. Cataboy says, I like the two-tone look. Yeah, Mike does. He has the two-tone look going on there. He has the, what did you say, Finch? The 5%? I think it was more like a, I don't know, 9 to 11% on that.
The way that his headphone is cutting into the side of his head there, it with the darkness, it gives it that slightly eclipsed look. And I'm
like it. It's like a
Looks
blood
good.
moon.
Like a blood moon.
I like it.
The whitest blood moon you've ever seen.
You ain't kidding.
Whitest, hairiest in one corner blood moon you've ever seen.
This is right up Durfee's alley.
Is that the sea of tranquility on your face there?
Boom! Hate all y'all.
Tortilla Jackson says, I'd be hyped and terrified at the same time if we get Shador. Hyped because we have no one right now, and terrified because no one could still be better than Shador. Good point. Richard Jankowski, no Sanders, let him go to Cleveland. I think that is the perfect scenario. Listen, you know how everything falls apart that goes to Cleveland? That is the perfect situation. Please send Deion Sanders to Cleveland and his son. Please, if you're listening, please send Deion Sanders to Cleveland. That would be great for Pittsburgh people as we continue to laugh at the people from the mistake by the lake. Also, Cedric Revel, I want to say good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Welcome. Eagles respected the towel and won a Super Bowl. Cedric, you got a point. He does have a point. I have to think on that.
You know, it might cancel out because they're from Pennsylvania. Might cancel out.
You know what? It might.
It might. Right. You know, there's always a loophole.
I'll go with that. Go with that. Let's go, Cedric. We'll go with that for now. We'll go with that until we come up with something better. G Bando. Thoughts on Milroe in the 3rd round? I like Milroe early. I went to Mike and I said, Mike, tell me more about Jalen Milroe, please. I think I like him. He's from a great school, and as I learned as time went on, he's not one of the better quarterbacks. But Mike, I don't think he's a bad choice for. I don't know if I want the Steelers to take Milroe, but I think he's going to be an okay quarterback in the NFL. What's beef with Milroe?
He has a lot of mechanical issues he needs to clean up. Like he can make all the throws. It's just he needs to clean up his footworks and make his mechanics more consistent. Is what I've noticed.
Is he better talking about Alabama? Mike, is he better than Mac Jones? If he can
clean up his mechanics, if he cleans up his mechanics, so much better than Mac Jones. If he doesn't, they might be the same quarterback. Okay. He has a lot of work that like pro quarterbacks noticed in his game. They all wish he would have went back to college somewhere for another year to refine his skills. He has the talent. It's just, again, he's one of those guys. Consistency and mechanics are
and Mark Malone's telling me on the board right now his hands are smaller than Kenny Pickett's.
He went got him stretched. He did the Kenny Pickett thing. Got him stretched. Got to get that massage. Get him stretched out for the measurement.
Do you see Kenny got his hands stretched so much that one time he threw that ball and it stuck to his palm of his hand in Philadelphia? Did anybody see that highlight?
Yeah,
that's what happened.
Yeah, that is an all-time blooper, an all-time blunder.
Absolutely,
that might be the best blunder we've seen in the NFL since like the butt fumble.
Yeah,
like it's going to live on. I'm surprised it hasn't gotten a nickname yet.
Yeah, like that's like in every highlight of like people are cutting together like Browns new starting quarterback, and it's that right there. And like that is like
I don't hate Milroe
thing to happen.
But when it comes down to it, guys, on all the details of the player, probably a lot better out there than him. I think he's going to go not a first round, but he will be in the league, and I hope him well. Guys, let's move on. Again, Joe says slow dart or bust. Again, I'm a dart guy. I agree with that halfway at least. Mark Malone, I definitely don't want to see Russ in the black and gold anymore. Catabola Browns collecting our former first rounders. Yes, they are. The Browns are going to be the Devin Bush and Kenny Pickett, and I think even somebody else. I can't think off the top of my head. But would you expect any more from Cleveland, Finch?
No.
And I seen they celebrated him on Pi Day because it was 3-14, and that's usually their record. I seen there was a couple posts celebrating the Browns. 3.14. I did. I seen this. Mark Malone says, okay, he says, aren't his hands smaller? Yeah, for sure. Okay, Yins or Joe, do the player are using therapists for the wrong things? I did see that Deshaun Watson did get engaged over the weekend. I seen this, so
I
see
saw
what an interesting turn this will take. Like I do got to jump into a couple things here. We're getting late in the show, so let me jump on a couple things. It is, guys, today is the 17th of March. You know that, but why am I saying this, guys? In just a little over a month, April 24th to April 26th is the NFL draft. That's right, guys, just a little over a month away. We just blew through the free agency part of the offseason, Mike. You know how it is on this show. We love free agency. We love the draft, all the stuff that comes with all that. It's, Mike, just a little more than a month away. We are going to be hitting the draft after that. You're heading into May. Now you're looking at summertime, camps, things like this coming. It's going to be here before we know it, Mike. Here we are, the 17th of March, just a little over a month. Again, April 24th through the 26th. I think Mike's taking the whole week off from his job. He's got a vacation because the whole week to prepare. Guys, it is very exciting. Little over a month away. We are going to be hitting the draft. We're going to answer all these questions. There are a lot of great questions on the board. Is it Jackson Dart? Is it Milroe? Is it Genty? Who's it going to be? We don't know. Just a little over a month away, guys, and we will be covering it all the way up into that point and after. You know that, Mike. A couple quick side notes before we do move on. Slay, he's on the fight with Darnell Washington. This is what his comment was. We're teammates now, so we're just going to jump all the folks. I like these two guys. I like Slay.
You got
I like
Slay,
Washington.
Metcalf,
we're just going to jump
Washington, Broderick Jones, and George Pickens. We are going to lead the NFL by a mile when it comes to personal fouls. And you know what? I might be here. I might enjoy it. Just because you don't know what those guys are going to do in any given moment.
It's going to be an exciting season, to say the least.
It's like having it in hockey. Your entire third and fourth line are nothing but goons. You don't know what's going to happen. You just hope you can survive the penalties. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be entertaining, to say the least.
To say the least. Two ways about that. Another thing here, guys, with getting Mason Rudolph back and Myles Garrett re-signing with the Browns, guys, it was possible that Garrett was going to go elsewhere. Mason was already in Tennessee. Guys, the rivalry between those two moves on. And you know what? This makes it a little bit more intense, Mike, because now Mason Rudolph might be on the field a lot more. Going back to that old Mason Rudolph-Myles Garrett fight.
Yes.
I think everybody remembers Myles smashing Mason's head in with his helmet. But, Mike, that rivalry, it lives on.
I'm here for it. I remember the last time was it last year or it might have been? Yeah, I think it was last year. Like, Steeler helmet popped off and Broderick Jones grabbed it because he saw Myles Garrett and was, waving his finger at him saying no. Like the O-line still, guys who weren't even here know what happened. And so now that Mason's here and they'll be blocking for him, it's going to be fun to see what happens. Maybe there'll be a big brawl. I think we win if there is a big brawl with all the crash out guys that we have.
And finally, in the Pittsburgh Steelers news, like right here in Pittsburgh, one of the radio personalities, they made the comment the other day, Russell Wilson is 80%. Russell Wilson will be here if Aaron Rodgers is not a Pittsburgh Steeler. Mike, he says 80%. If Aaron Rodgers is not the Steeler quarterback, Russell Wilson will be back. Do you agree with this personality? 80%.
Yeah, because I kind of that's kind of like how it's playing out. Is like it's one of those two. Whoever signs their contract first, that's who we're going to get. So I'm kind of in agreement with that assessment.
All right, guys, let's get a couple of these messages in. We do have to move on. I'm going to go right here where Ginger Joe says, do the players are okay? Got that. Tortilla Jackson, Kenny found out you can intercept the ball you can't intercept the ball if he does a windmill into the ground. That, in fact, what we were talking about. Mark Malone, he says, Watson should gift free passes to his massage parlor for his groomsmen.
Oh,
Hey,
Jesus
never
Christ.
know, Cleveland man. Cordman Tommy, my ex-wife got remarried and moved to Cleveland. Now there are 2 mistakes by the lake. I'm sorry to hear that.
Boom.
Daway Hood, welcome to you on the show. Hood, boom. Hood says people called Hurts a backup and not pro ready. Now the same people praising him. I'm guessing when it comes to a franchise QB, it really, yeah. I mean, come on. We wanted in 04 either Eli Manning or Phillip Rivers. I mean, these were the names you knew.
Yeah.
These were the guys that were tearing it up in college. But you know what? We got Ben, and he ended up being better than all of them. So again, when it comes to franchise quarterbacks, it's tough. It really is tough. And you see that around the league, Mike. There's 5 teams that go for the Super Bowl, that fight for the Super Bowl every year, and then you have 27 other teams that are hurting for a franchise quarterback. That's what you see. I don't know why the franchise quarterbacks. There's only about 6 of them on the whole entire planet, but that's the way it works out.
Yeah, and
also, let's see.
I was gonna say, back in the day, I was one of the guys. I wanted Phillip Rivers. I mean, just watching them play in college, I thought he played the best out of them.
Yeah,
I'm glad I was fucking wrong. I didn't want Lamar Woodley or Lawrence Timmons either. I was like, why are we getting these guys? Glad, So I'm glad I was wrong and have learned how to actually study the film to know what we're kind of looking for here. My God, I was terrible back in the day. Still terrible now.
Richard Jankowski says, I don't believe Russell will be back. I hope that he's not. I just think last year we learned a lot, and it just feels like it's time to move on. If it don't, Mike, it will really feel like it will continue to have that stale feel here in Pittsburgh if he comes back. I like Russell. I think he's a great guy. But at the end of the day, I think we have to keep moving. We have to keep moving like a boxer. You can't stand still too long.
Yeah.
You have to continue to move. And that's what I think Omar Khan does really well with this team as far as, again, the job he does at GM. Let's see. Jen, what's up, Jen? Jen said, hi. I had a meeting. I'll be go back and forth and listen. That's always good to see you, Jen. And Tortilla, I heard Watson like small hands, I guess. That's why they traded for Kenny. Oh. Mike, let me move on here just a little bit in the NFL. The Cincinnati Bengals. They have 3 guys on their 53-man roster. Nobody else seems to matter. All the money is getting paid out to their quarterback and 2 receivers, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Mike, all the money going to these 3 guys. They have no defense. They have no line. They have nothing. This team has basically turned to nothing after paying those 3 guys ultimately. Mike, Cincinnati Bengals, is this team, again, you have 3 guys and you have everybody else.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Like you said, their offensive line is worse than ours. Shaky at best might be an overstatement for their line, and their defense. My God, you lost Hubbard to retirement, and you still don't know what's going on with Henderson. So, and their secondary sucks, and their linebacking core isn't that good. They're going to have to win every game 70 to 69. And that offense got to put up generational numbers.
I think they'll be up for the challenge, Mike. I think they will be up to the challenge to at least to score the points. And again, that offensive line, there's some issues going on. Mike, Baltimore, they've turned into the retirement home for wide receivers. Does DeAndre Hopkins, of course, the latest addition to the Ravens, does he basically fade into the sunset, Mike? I mean, come on, at this point, he did okay in Kansas City. He caught the ball, he made plays, but again, you see guys like OBJ and all these other fellas. Mike, the retirement home in Baltimore, is DeAndre Hopkins going to be productive, or is he basically going to be just what we've seen in Kansas City?
Kind of like what we saw in the Super Bowl, I think. Now, he played 10 games for KC, 59 or 40 catches, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns in 10 games. That might be his stat line for the year. I just think he's finally done at the end of his career. He's going to be 33. Yeah, I'm not expecting a whole hell of a lot out of DeAndre Hopkins here, especially the way we saw him play in the Super Bowl. He looked like he was done.
And finally, in the NFL, Dane Jackson agrees to a 1-year deal back with the Buffalo Bills, of course, from Pitt. Getting that deal, staying with Buffalo, good for him. Wish him all the luck. Guys, let's jump into some other sports. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds, our soccer team right here in Pittsburgh, they took a 2-0 loss to the San Antonio FC team on Saturday. They are back at it this coming Saturday at Hartford. They play Hartford Athletic Saturday at 7. Mike, your Pittsburgh Penguins, I don't know what they're doing. They couldn't find a way to win a game
right?
in months. This team is now 4 in a row. They won 4 in a row. Mike, they beat the Devils by a football score 7-3 over the weekend. Their next game is against the Islanders tomorrow. Mike, Jari back from the dead. 4-0 with a 93% save since he's been back up. Did you think that you would ever see this? Come on, I thought he was gone for good.
Yeah, like he needs to go back down to the minors. We were trying to tank here. He is not being a good tank commander.
He's always doing the opposite of what we need.
He's not a team player.
Jari, beginning of the year, we need you to play great. Need me to tank? I'm your guy, coach. No, Jari, we need you to tank. I'm your guy, coach. You need us to win to make the playoffs. What the fuck? But I tell you what, though, not just him, but some of the guys that Kyle Dubas picked up in the trade deadline that were under the radar type guys are playing steady, really good hockey, and he's building a good rebuilding on the fly really fucking well. I kind of wish we'd get in the top 5 in the lottery. We got to start losing here, boys. We can play better, but we still got to lose. Let's get it together.
Pittsburgh Pirates, the Buccos, they play 3 games. They play all through the weekend, Mike. And guess what? They did not lose any. On Friday, they tied with the Tigers 8-8. Saturday, they beat the Orioles 15-5. And again, they beat the Yankees yesterday 4-3. And Mike, they play the Tigers today at 1:05. There's only 10 days left till the opener, Mike. 10 days till the opener in baseball. And Finch, Paul Skeens gets the nod as the opening day starter. How exciting is that going to be? And what kind of expectations do you have for the Pittsburgh Pirates? They're usually not high. We understand that, but this year, Paul Skeens, what do you think the Buccos are going to do this year?
I mean, who else were they going to put out there on opening day other than Paul Skeens, right? I mean, he's got to be the guy.
Oh, it's been Keller the past couple years.
Yeah, right. Come on, man. After last year, I mean, you're gonna see production out of Skeens. He's gonna have another good year. He's worth 15 wins probably. But the rest of the team probably won't even get that combined. They're just not very good, and they're not going to be good for a while. It would be nice to see the Pirates go out and have a nice start. Win. I think they did that last year, right? Didn't they go out there and win like 10 out of their first 20 games or something, and then hang around that 500 mark for a little while?
They start well.
That's probably what's going to happen again. They get, they always seem to find that slump somewhere in July or so.
Play their best baseball in April.
Yeah, right. Exactly. April and May. I don't.
You can't play your best baseball in April.
I don't expect a lot out of the Buccos this year. However, it's nice to see Skeens do well. I hope he does well. I was at the mall the other day, and they had a baseball card collection convention going on. And somebody was selling a Paul Skeens signed rookie card graded for like $500. And I thought, that might actually be a pretty good deal. I did not buy it because I didn't have 500 extra bucks. But, the guy's, he's shooting up right now. He's just getting better and better. There are no limits to that guy at this moment. And I hope he does well. And I hope he does well here because he's going to be a Yankee in about 5 years.
Right. Yankee or a Dodger, one of the two.
Guys, then we're going to we have to bounce past it over to the hardwood. The NCAA March Madness selection show was last night. A lot to talk about on that. Guys, it starts tomorrow. Two of the first 4 games are tomorrow. The other 2 of the first 4 games are Wednesday. And then it officially starts with the first round on Thursday afternoon, guys. The number 1 seeds are Houston, Auburn, Duke, in Florida. So once this kicks off, it's so bang, bang, bang. The round 1 will be Thursday, Friday. Round 2 will be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 2 rounds. So before you know it, a lot of this tournament is over, Mike. Of course, so much going on in the NFL and Steelers. We'll get more into the tournament here over the next couple of days to maybe pick our winners before they start and just a few other things. But we will be talking more about the NCAA tournament, which starts officially tomorrow with the first 4 games. So, again, that's coming. It's coming fast, Mike. I don't know who I'm going to pick yet. I got to really sit down and look at the bracket, see what's going on. But, guys, the March Madness is at the doorstep.
It is here, and my God, it's couldn't come soon enough. I actually need a sport I want to watch. I can't watch the Penguins because it's too depressing. But my God, finally, college basketball. Is there nothing better than like the entire March Madness tournament? I love.
I just like how how fast it is. I love how rapid. That is, I think, one of the best parts.
Last night and the games tomorrow already. I love it. There's none of this 2-week build to it. It's like, no, we're going fucking now. Let's go.
And Robert Morris, right here in Moon Township, they play in the first round against Alabama. So watch Alabama versus Robert Morris. Let's go, Bobby Moe. And finally, guys, Bobby Moe. On the high school level, right here from the county, Aliquippa, they get a big win in the state playoffs yesterday over the weekend. They beat Forest Hill 73-34. They're going to take on South Allegheny this coming Saturday in the semifinals. Guys, South Allegheny is the team that beat Aliquippa in the Whippeal Championship game. Yep. Real close game. Could have went either way. But the rematch, guys, Saturday, 12 o'clock, Aliquippa, South Allegheny. Big game for high school hoops. We are hoping for Quip to bring home that gold. Almost there. Just a couple more games. They got it. They're good. Let's get this win against South Allegheny. Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumbyinzers.com. Over there, we got our merch store. We got the links all over social media. Got the blog, and yes, there will be one up today of new mock draft just done this morning. I think it's going to annoy some people, and some people are going to like it. It's the way the simulation ran. I kind of like it. I would be happy with this draft. So yeah, check it out later today at the2dumbyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. A lot of good stuff over there. www.the2dumbyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumbyinzers.com. Let's get into this trivia, guys. Question of the day: Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Finch, put on your thinking caps, everybody on the board. Everybody at home, here we go. Question of the day: the Steelers have had at least. Let me. The Steelers have had at least an 11-game winning streak in how many seasons? All right, answers, ass. Let's see how good Fitch the smart ass is. The Steelers have had at least an 11-game winning streak in how many seasons? They've at least had an 11-game winning streak. Now I'm talking about their franchise history. The Steelers have had at least an 11-game winning streak in how many of their seasons? Mind you, now this team is going to be 100 years old in just 8 years. 1933 was when the Steelers were established. Well, here we are at 2025, just 8 years. 8 years from being 100 years old. I need to know from you guys. The Steelers have had at least 11-game winning streak in how many of their 92 seasons? Cordman Tommy on the board is saying 4. Ooh. Take a minute to think it over, guys. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every day right here on YouTube. All right, Finch, I'm coming to you on this one. Finch with a sharp tongue. You're getting this one. Question of the day. The Steelers have had at least an 11-game winning streak in how many NFL seasons? Again, they've been a team for 92 years. What do you think, Finch?
I
think a thought process, anything going through your head?
I know 2 have happened in my lifetime. I know of 2. And I think
Tortilla Jackson saying 9.
I think that was it, though. I think 2 is it. I'm going with 2. 2 is my guess.
Is that your
That's
final
my final answer?
All right, good enough. Finch says 2 on the board. Yeah, Tortilla says 9. Cordman Tommy says that's a hell of a long streak. But guys, the question, Mike, I'm going to come to you next. 2. Finch says 4, 9. A couple of the answers on the board. Here we go, Mike. The Steelers have had at least an 11-game winning streak in how many seasons? Finch says 2.
Yeah, I know those 2.
9.
I know those 2 that Finch are talking about.
Cordman Tommy is saying 4. Yeah. Go ahead.
Because we got the year we won 11-0, then collapsed. We got Ben's rookie year when he came in and he rattled off all of those. I'm gonna say
Good.
Oh,
We had a season in the 70s where we won like 15 games, but I'm pretty sure the game that we lost that year was in the middle of the season, so it would have chopped an 11-game win streak. I honestly don't think there's any more than 2.
Yeah, I
cannot think of any more.
Screw it. I'm gonna go 3.
Yinzer Joe saying 13. Roger Murray saying 3. Hey, good. I do want to say good afternoon, Roger, on the board. Roger's saying 3 as well. Mike, he agrees with you. Yinzer Joe says 13. Tommy saying 4. Tortilla Jackson 9. Jen says not enough. Mike, you say 3. Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
All right, locking you in place. Mike says 3. All right, guys, the question of the day. Tommy's saying he was banking on a couple from the 70s, so that's where he kind of got his answer as well, guys. So the
only played 14 games.
The 70s seems to be an X factor here in this question, guys, if you notice. Question of the day, the Steelers have had at least an 11-game winning streak in how many? 2 seasons. Mike says 2. Finch says 2. Mike says 3. A lot of different answers on the board, guys. The correct answer, of course, they did it in Ben's rookie season back in 2004. They did it in 2020 when the team started 11-0. And is there any other ones? Let me take a look. See, they did win 11 in a row in 1975. 1975. Ooh. 3 times. 3 is the answer. They've won at least an 11-game winning streak in 3 seasons. Not bad. Not bad. It's a lot of games to win. Come on, I don't know how many teams. The thing is, like, generally, I don't know if anybody's who's done better, who's done worse, but that's pretty impressive.
I know, right?
3.
Yeah.
So,
and once again, that was a 14-game season.
Yeah,
they would have done that in. So that's impressive. Was that the year they went like 13-1 or something like that? Yeah. Good for them.
Yeah. So there you go.
Those 75 Steelers. Heard they were pretty good.
Yeah, not a bad team.
They're all right.
Not a bad team. Yeah. It just got
Finch, before we start getting ready to wrap it up, man, do you have anything? A couple things about you. I got a bone to pick with you. First off, I do want to say I haven't had a chance to catch Friday yet, which is crazy. I'm always the first one there on the board and watching the Friday night show, the 2 angry Jagoffs.
Yeah, it kind of went off the rails. Yeah, it was a good show. We had fun.
And I keep hearing this, and I'm thinking I heard it was really good. So I am going to make sure I do get to watch the 2 cranky Jagoffs today. And I will talk more about it tomorrow. I think Finch said he'll be by tomorrow, and then also Derpy. So it'll be a lot of fun tomorrow. Got some things planned for then. But I am going to watch the show tonight. I'm going to get some time. But, guys, do check out the 2 cranky Jagoffs at 9:30 p.m. on Friday nights. Finch and Tim, they get into some pretty fun stuff, and I think everybody would the guys out right here on the 2 Dumb Yinzer Network. You can check out 2 cranky Jagoffs on Friday nights at 9:30. Finch, but I think the important question is this: how did Steak and BJ Day go? Because Friday, of course, we talked about Steak and BJ Day.
Yes,
you were really excited. I remember the smile went from one ear to the other.
Yeah, it ended well. It was a good evening.
You ate steak.
I cooked some steaks. I cooked steaks,
all right.
And then we hung out for a little bit, and then it was Friday, so Tim and Ryan came over, so that kind of interrupted the holiday a little bit, but that was all right. We had fun, and then and we also mentioned Steak and a BJ on the episode, and then
so you celebrated Steak and BJ Day before the show, is what you're saying?
No. The steak was before the show. And the other portion of the holiday was after the show. In fact, it was pretty late. It might even have been into the next day by the time we consummated. But yeah, it was a good time. We had a great day. It was a good Friday. We had a nice show. It was fun.
Yeah, I do. I told everybody. I told everybody that you were celebrating Steak and BJ Day. So
messy.
So good for you, Finch. I hope everybody else did. As a matter of fact, I hope somebody just hearing it or talking about it on the show help them celebrate Steak and BJ Day in their own life as well. That's what it's all about, baby. That's what it's all about. Mike, anything before we start getting ready to wrap things up?
No, I got nothing. I can't compete with that. I can't compete with
Well,
you can.
Well, your scarlet mustache and Speedos says otherwise. But what about you, Finch? Anything before we wrap it up?
Nah, man, just keep on keeping on, and I plan to be here tomorrow, so we'll see you tomorrow.
Hell yeah!
All right, my thing is this. Off topic, of course. The last topic, all right. So you seen a dog take a shit, right? They get in that weird position where they arch their back. You seen a cat in the side of a litter box shitting on the wall. Guys, has anybody ever actually seen a kangaroo take a shit ever? Anywhere? Video, picture, any of these wild animals you think about, like wild tigers, like wild cats.
Are you asking a question about a kangapoo? Are you asking about kangapoo right now?
Yeah, okay. All I'm saying is you don't see these animals pooping enough. And I can honestly say because of that, I don't think I've ever seen any wild animal take a shit.
That is a very strange fetish that you have there.
Yeah.
I know this, and that's why I'm inquiring.
Bestiality coprophiliac, I believe, is what that would be.
Not at all.
Not at all.
I have no feelings.
You want to see animals poop.
My point is this. Yeah. Well, yes. But the point being is you never see any of these animals. Who knows what a kangaroo? Who knows what a kangaroo looks like when it's shitting? You know what I mean? I think that it could be hilarious.
Are kangaroos are they the down under version of our joke with bears? Like, does a bear shit in the woods? Are kangaroos like the south of the equator version of that riddle? Does a kangaroo?
Do they arch their back? Do they have that funny look? All I'm saying, nobody in my life, in my 23 years of life, has ever showed me a video or anything of showing one of those animals taking a shit, which I think is odd. But anyway, besides the point, guys. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, Caleb? Caleb on the board. Caleb says all poop matters, and I agree with that 100%. That's why I say we should see more kangaroo and wild cat shitting. But you know what? That's just me. Let me finish a couple of these remarks off, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for today, guys. All right. Caleb says my Jim Palmer poster ruined the Jag-offs. What's that all about, Finch?
Oh, yeah. He mentioned that he had a Jim Palmer poster on the wall, and it turned into kind of a gag. Let's just say we had some fun.
You can tune in to check out, find out.
You have to tune in to check out. Yeah,
I will. I'm going to check it out today. I promise. Tortilla Jackson said he couldn't finish his steak. You'd finish your steak? Oh, you're talking about watching your show.
My steak.
Yeah, Tortilla Jackson. He says he couldn't even finish his steak. Huh. Tommy says, hey, I'm the only one that hit the thumbs up button. Do I win something for that? Yeah, sure. Why not? Hey, Tommy, I tell you this, you get a free Two Dumb Yinzers calendar when it comes out, baby. That's right. The Two Dumb Yinzers.
Oh, God, I don't know if you want that.
They grace every page of this calendar. It's going to be rocking, baby. You got one free, baby. Don't say we never did nothing, huh?
Love it.
Also, this says agree Tortilla. He says hell with the steak. Tortilla says she kept spilling barbecue sauce on the wrong meat. Caleb says, does a wallaby shit in the outback? There's the question, Finch. Does a wallaby shit in the outback?
There it is. Yeah. By the way, Ryan, if you check our group chat, I actually real quick just found a video of a kangaroo pooping, and I posted the clip in there.
I'm so on that.
You need to go watch it real quick because it's the most casual poop you've ever seen. It's a casual kangaroo poop. Yeah, it's.
Let me ask you this: have you ever in your life thought of a kangaroo pooping until this moment? Have you?
No, I never have. See how
it's expand in your mind.
Yeah, fantastic. It's worth watching. It's hilarious.
You see, that's right, guys. Also, the Tommy says first to happen shit or Bigfoot. Well, hey, I think Finch broke the kangaroo shit barrier. I am going to check it out to just confirm before we know it. I will check it out.
It's like also, a 10-second video. It's worth watching. It's like a 10-second video.
Okay. I'm not going to watch it right now. I'll watch it.
I would. You should. I would watch
What's your problem? All right.
I watched it.
you watch an animal take a poop right now.
Jen says tube steak. Tube steak, guys. We're back to the steak and BJ. Tube steak, Jen.
Tube steak boogie.
Let's see. Caleb says, Are you all serious about the calendar? I could edit it. Oh, yes, you're on. Yes,
I
Caleb.
am so serious.
Yes. Don't look at Mike. Just don't even look at his window. Yes, very serious. And finally, Caleb says, Scarlet Mike on the Allegheny River beachfront is the centerfold. I dig that, Mike. I could go with that, but you got to get the Scarlet. You got to
need the
get
Scarlet,
the mustache, and you got to get the Speedo and or thong. That is the only way that about. That's
I have
your,
a
that's your
boat.
claim to fame,
We can
baby.
go out on the river. We can get the
guys,
photos. Yeah.
Boats and hose. Boats
You
and
do have a
hose.
boat. That's right.
Boat and hose.
Steak and BJ.
I do have
Oh,
access
man.
to a boat. Yes.
Guys, I do want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out and
I'm
checking
gonna
us out
come.
today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. I do want to say thank you to everybody on the board today. You guys always keep things interesting, and everybody at home as well. Maybe at the gym, maybe at work, in the car, wherever you may be. We want to thank you as well. You guys are the greatest. Mike, anything else, my man, before we go ahead and wrap things up, brother?
No, I got nothing other than, what month am I going to be on the calendar?
Well, you're going to be
February.
centerfold providing you.
I get the shortest month.
You go with
the fattest guy gets the shortest month. Okay.
Well, nobody said February besides for Finch. Listen, you're going to be the centerfold. You need to have, but listen, it's required. It's required to have the scarlet. It's required to have the mustache, and it's required to have the terrible thong and or Speedo. So yes, you can be Mike centerfold, but if you don't, you are then in February for the shortest month, as Finch said. So up to you. Tough decisions.
They're tough decisions.
Tommy says, let's get drunk. Tommy says, let's get drunk. No, thank you. Thank you, Tortilla. Thank you, everybody. You guys are so awesome. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time. Again, Finch will be by tomorrow, and I think Derpy will be back in the house tomorrow as well. A lot of stuff going on. We'll be covering the draft coming up in a little over a month away. We'll be talking about free agency, what the Steelers got going on, where Aaron Rodgers is in the picture, who's going to be under center for the black and gold next year, and so much more tomorrow, guys, at our normal time. We hope to see everybody back. It's warm out. Enjoy some warm weather. Mike, you know what? At the end of the day, guys, winter is over. Enjoy warm weather for the two dumb yinzers. Finch, Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself. Everyone have a great Monday. We'll see you tomorrow.